Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for standing by, and welcome to BlueCity's third quarter 2020 earnings conference call. Currently, all participants are in a listen-only mode. Later, we will conduct a question and answer session, and instructions will follow at that time. As a reminder, we are recording today's call. If you have any objections, you may disconnect at this time. Now I'll turn the call over to Lin Kong, Head of Investor Relations of the company. Ms. Lin Kong, please proceed.
Thank you, operator, and hello, everyone. Welcome to BlueCity's third quarter 2020 earnings conference call. Joining us today are Mr. Baoli Ma, Chief Executive Officer, and Mr. Ben Li, Chief Financial Officer. We released results earlier today. The press release is available on the company's IR website at ir.blue-city.com, as well as from Newswire services. A replay of this call will also be available in a few hours on our IR website. Before we continue, please note that today's discussion will contain forward-looking statements made under the Safe Harbor provisions of the U.S. Private Securities Litigation Reform Act of 1995. Forward-looking statements involve inherent risks and uncertainties. As such, the company's actual results may be materially different from the expectations expressed today. Further information regarding this and other risks and uncertainties is included in the company's public filings with the SEC. The company does not assume any obligation to update any forward-looking statements except as required under applicable law. Please note that during today's call, management will also discuss certain non-GAAP financial measures for comparison purpose only. Our GAAP results and reconciliations of GAAP to non-GAAP measures can be found in our earnings press release. Also, please note that unless otherwise stated, all figures mentioned during the conference call are in Chinese renminbi. With that, let me now turn the call over to our CEO, Mr. Baoli Ma. Mr. Ma will deliver opening remarks in Chinese. I will then translate his remarks. Our CFO, Mr. Ben Li, will take over to discuss our business and financial highlights. Mr. Ma, please go ahead.
大家好，感谢大家参加蓝城兄弟本季度的财报电话会议。第三季度业绩表现强劲，总收入为人民币 2.976 亿元，同比增长 47.3%。付费用户总人数为 49.4 万，同比增长 43.8%。值得注意的是，我们本季度实现了调整后口径下的首次盈利。这些成绩反映出我们持续提升的商业化能力和强大的执行力，以实现公司的稳健增长。
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining our earnings conference call today. We finished the third quarter on a strong note, with total revenues of 297.6 million, up 47.3% year-over-year, and total paying users of 494,000, up 43.8%. Notably, we generated positive adjusted net income for the first time. These results demonstrate our ability to drive steady and healthy growth through improving monetization capability and strong execution.
除了自身业务的稳健增长外，我们还在进一步加强蓝城兄弟在 LGBTQ 人群中的领先地位。通过一系列的并购战略和业务扩张，我们正在向不同国家和地区的更多用户提供多元化的产品和服务。下面我将与大家分享蓝城兄弟在这些方面取得的最新进展。
In addition to solid organic growth, we further strengthened our leadership position in the LGBTQ community. We have developed a portfolio strategy that provides different products and services through acquisitions and expansion to other subgroups and geographies. Let me share with you our latest breakthroughs on those fronts.
首先， 在收购方面，截止今日，我们已经完成了对翻卡一款中国领先的面向年轻一代的同性社交软件的收购。对于此次战略性收购，我们感到十分的兴奋。无论是从主打交友和滑动的产品功能方面，还是用户群体方面，翻卡对于 BlueCity 都具有战略补充意义。通过此次收购，我们进一步加强了在 LGBTQ 社群的领先地位。同时，更重要的是，我们可以进一步丰富蓝城兄弟的产品矩阵，向我们打造的社区中注入更多年轻和潮流元素。我们对翻卡的未来充满信心，同时也期待双方形成业务互补和战略协同。
First, acquisitions. Today, we have completed the acquisition of Finca, a leading gay social networking app in China, targeting younger generations. We are excited about this strategic acquisition. Finca complements our Blue app both in functionality, centered on dating and swipe, and in user demographics. With this acquisition, we have further strengthened our leadership and dominance in the LGBTQ community. But more importantly, it has enabled us to enrich our product matrix by injecting younger and more trending elements into our community. We are confident in their future development and look forward to building a complementary business and strategic synergy.
其次，随着在全球的持续扩张，我们基于不同市场提供更加本地化和多样化的服务。我们在拉丁美洲市场推出了 BlueCity 简洁版本，并针对一些亚洲市场推出了定制版语音聊天功能。我们的目标是为当地社区提供量身定制的产品和服务，更好地满足当地用户的需求。
Second, as we continue to accelerate our global expansion, we are providing more localized and diversified services in different markets. In Latin America, we introduced a simplified version of the Blue app. For some Asian markets, we rolled out an exclusive tailored voice chat room feature. Our goal is to build a product that closely matches the needs of the local community.
在此，在产品和服务创新方面，第三季度我们在 BlueCity 中国版本中引入了基地功能，用户可以选择加入基地的不同群组，实现与兴趣相投成员的更好互动。我们还推出了 Let's Do 新版本，包括新增了 Catch 功能。这项功能被社群用户认为是有效的破冰聊天方式。我们正在产品创新方面进行着不懈努力，以进一步提升用户体验，并加深社群连接。
Third, we continue to innovate and develop new products and services. In this quarter, we introduced the community feature on the China version of Blue, where users can join a variety of affinity groups and better engage with a like-minded community. We are also promoting effective connection on Let's Do through new features, such as the so-called catch function, which serves as an icebreaker between the newly connected friends. This demonstrates our continued effort in product innovation that further improves the user experience and deepens the bonds of our community.
在这里，我想高亮一下公司子品牌和尔健康的表现。和尔健康通过网络平台提供各种健康相关服务，主要包括 HIV 相关服务和综合男性健康服务。本季度和尔健康的收入同比增长超过6倍，达到了960万元。目前来看，收入规模虽然相对较小，但是我们认为我们拥有天然获客基础和服务体系的先发优势。随着 HIV 预防和治疗意识的逐步提高，健康业务将迎来更大的发展空间。
I would also like to highlight the performance of He Health, one of our sub-brand health platforms that provide a wide variety of health-related services, primarily including HIV-related services and comprehensive men's health services. This quarter, revenue from He Health grew approximately 6 times to $9.6 million. Although it still represents a small fraction of our total revenues, we see a huge potential in He Health with a strong awareness of HIV prevention and treatment in the LGBTQ community and our first mover advantages of user acquisition and service capabilities.
公益事业自第一天起就根植在公司的基因中，我们一直在努力提升公众对于艾滋病的认知和预防意识。在世界艾滋病日前夕，公司承诺捐资人民币100万元，用于支持非营利性 HIV 预防工作。我们多年来对艾滋病预防所做的大量付出，受到了政府相关机构、学术机构和企业伙伴的支持和认可。今后我们将推出更多的举措，并通过组织和参与各种社会和公共活动，在全球范围内不断提升对于 LGBTQ 人群的认知。
As we continue to advance the public interest and make relentless efforts in promoting HIV awareness and prevention, we recently pledged to donate 1 million renminbi to support non-profit HIV prevention in the lead-up to World AIDS Day. Our many years of action towards HIV prevention has been strongly supported and well recognized by governmental, academic, and corporate partners. Going forward, we will launch more initiatives and continue to promote LGBTQ awareness around the world by organizing and participating in a wide variety of social and public events.
最后，2020年11月是蓝城兄弟前身淡蓝网成立的20周年。对我来说，这一段路程虽然漫长而艰辛，但也充满着纪念意义。从一个人到全球5800万的注册用户，我们要感谢所有一路上认可、鼓励和帮助我们的人。我们致力于通过创新、技术升级和运营优化，为用户提供最优质的服务。
Finally, I want to mention that November 2020 was the 20th anniversary of the founding of Danlan.org, BlueCity's predecessor. It has been a long, arduous, yet meaningful and memorable journey for me, from 1% to 58 million registered users around the globe. We would like to thank all of those along the way who recognized, encouraged, and helped us to be who we are. We are dedicated to providing the best services to our members through deeper understanding, product innovation, technology advancement, and operational improvement.
综上所述，第三季度的业绩表现强劲，我们在许多方面取得了有意义的进展。蓝城兄弟领先的市场地位、强大的执行能力和行业整合的能力，在用户需求的快速增长红利下，我相信我们公司能够在未来实现更加强劲的增长。
To conclude, Q3 was a strong quarter. We made meaningful progress in many aspects of our business. We believe that our leading market position, strong execution capability, and industry consolidation will benefit from the fast-growing consumer demand, and we can achieve robust growth in the near future.
现在，我将把电话交给我们的首席财务官Ben，他将提供业务和财务方面的更多细节。
Now let me turn the call over to our CFO Ben, who will provide details on business and financial performance.
Thank you, Mr. Ma, and thank you everyone for joining our call today. As Mr. Ma just mentioned, we delivered another strong quarter with impressive business development and solid financial growth. Total revenues were RMB 297.6 million, up 47.3% year-over-year. Gross profit was 96 million, a significant increase of 61.7% from the same period of last year. Gross margin was 32.3%, 2.9 percentage points better than the 29.4% in the same period last year. Notably, we generated positive adjusted net income for the first time, which was a remarkable improvement, as it demonstrated the potential of our business model and our capability to grow in a profitable manner. We announced the Finka acquisition at the end of November. Finka is a geo-social networking app that uses a swipe feature in which users swipe left for dislike and swipe right to get matched with other nearby men. Finka complements Blued, which is focused on building the community as a whole and connecting people in a much broader sense. Finka users are mostly millennials that live in the first and second tier cities and who would like to pursue a better quality of life. As such, they are more willing to pay for high quality services. As of September 2020, the Finka app had approximately 3 million registered users, with average monthly active users and daily active users about 1/10 of Blued. As we integrate Finka, we will accelerate its growth by providing financial support and technological and operational assistance. Specifically, with Finka's features more appealing to overseas users who share similar profiles, we see huge growth potential for Finka to expand overseas, backed by our years of experience on global expansion and operation. Likewise, Finka will add younger members and fresh ideas to the community, which will further optimize our product and service offerings, enabling us to drive further monetization opportunities. Turning to our recent developments in operations, we continue to devote resources to improving operating efficiency. We also invested in technology innovations to improve the user experience as always. In August, we rolled out a BlueCity original short video series called Dear Sirs. With 7 episodes, it tells same-sex love stories from 7 different angles. The series has generated over 33 million views, as well as numerous interactions within Blued and other social networking apps. We believe this new series touched the hearts and minds of our members and maturely promoted the level of user engagement. Leveraging our strong data analytics capabilities and AI-driven technologies, we launched an all-new community feature on our China edition of the Blued app. Under the community feature, which is similar to Facebook groups, users can join groups based on their common interests and background, and enjoy even richer themed social interaction online. We are pleased to see that the number of topics reviewed by each user and interactions have increased significantly since its launch. Our growing user base and improving data and analytics and algorithms provide a solid foundation to optimize our service and product offerings, which will build and foster a greater sense of belonging in this community. Since our August acquisition of Levdo, a leading social networking app for the lesbian community in China, we are pleased with the results of a smooth integration and effective cooperation. We invested in human resources, technology improvement, corporate governance, and marketing activities. And we are very pleased to see that as of November, monthly active users increased by 1.2 times since that acquisition. The introduction of the new version of Levdo is just a starting point. We plan to roll out live streaming services in this December and expect Levdo will contribute a meaningful share of revenue in 2021. We continue to build our global presence and improve brand awareness internationally. we introduced a major update to the Blue mobile app in Latin America with optional photo verification and a streamlined user interface, reflecting BlueCity support for the local LGBTQ community. The results are encouraging so far, with both MAU and DAU in some major countries increasing 40% compared to the pre-launch. We are confident in future development through our marketing and operational efforts. Over the past few years, we have executed on a clear expansion strategy, serving the LGBTQ community globally with tailored features for local users. Now, I will go through our financial highlights for this quarter. Before I go into details about our financial results, please note that all numbers presented are in RMB and are for the third quarter of 2020, unless stated otherwise. All percentage changes are on a year-over-year basis, unless otherwise specified. Detailed analysis is contained in our earnings press release, which is available on our IR website. Our total revenues increased by 47.3% to RMB 297.6 million. Growth was driven by better monetization of our diverse services and rich content offerings, as well as geographic expansion. Revenues from overseas contributed 9.7% of total revenue, up from 5.6% from the same period last year. Revenues from live streaming services reached RMB 255.2 million, up 42.9% from the same period of last year. Quarterly paying users for live streaming services increased by 22.8% to 159,000. ARPPU increased 16.4% to RMB 1,609, as promotional activities during the quarter increased the willingness of top users to pay for services. Revenue for membership services was RMB 18.2 million, up 56.4% year-over-year. Our quarterly paying users for membership services increased to 55.9% to 378,000, while ARPPU increased to 0.3% to RMB 48. Our users have adopted fee-paying membership services quickly, thanks to our rich content, customized services, and unique products. Revenues from advertising were RMB 10.1 million, up 38.8%. Other revenues were 14.1 million, compared with RMB 4.5 million from the third quarter of 2019. The increase was mainly attributable to the growth of our merchandise sales. Cost of revenues increased by 41% to 201.6 million, growing in line with our total revenue. The increase was primarily due to the growth of revenue sharing costs, along with the continued growth of live streaming services. We also had share-based compensation expenses related to the IPO. Gross profit was 96.0 million, up 61.7%, representing gross margin of 32.3%, 2.9 percentage points higher than last year. The improvement in gross margin mainly came from lower revenue sharing, as live streaming revenue was a smaller portion of total revenue. Live streaming was 57.4% of total revenue, down from 65.4% in the third quarter last year. As we have more members using the platform with more popular and growing attractions, we expect to further reduce the revenue sharing percentage with service providers and thus can achieve a sustainability higher gross margin. Meanwhile, faster adoption of the membership services fee model, which is higher margin, means we can further diversify our revenue stream and shift to a subscription-based model. Looking at operation expenses, They were 240.7 million, up 255.2%. The increase was mainly due to the share-based compensation expenses related to the IPO. Furthermore, they were in line with the growth of our business. We added more employees, enhanced R&D capabilities, and ramped up advertising in connection with our business expansion. Selling and marketing expenses were 58.0 million, up 86.3% year-over-year. The increase in sales and marketing were mainly due to the higher advertising and promotion expenses and staff cost, as well as the share-based compensation expenses related to the IPO. Technology and development expenses were 50.3 million, up 49.5%. This increase was due to increased headcount in technology and development personnel, as well as the share-based compensation related to the IPO. G&A expenses were 132.4 million, up 4,349%. The increase was mainly due to the professional services fees and share-based compensation expense related to the IPO. Net loss was RMB 137.8 million, compared with a net loss of RMB 7.1 million last year. The adjusted net income was RMB 7.1 million, compared with adjusted net loss of RMB 6.5 million last year. What a remarkable improvement. Going forward, we will continue to advance our live streaming models and upgrade membership services to promote the consumption of paid services. We will also broaden our user base within the LGBTQ community via prudent global expansion and selective acquisitions. We are confident in our long-term growth prospects. With that, let me offer guidance. We reiterate our revenue outlook of RMB 1,030 to RMB 1,070 million for the full year 2020. Therefore, for the fourth quarter of 2020, we expect the net revenues in a range of RMB 277 to RMB 297 million, representing year-over-year growth of 24% to 33%. That concludes my prepared remarks. Let's now open the call for questions. Operator, please go ahead.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now begin the question and answer session. To ask questions on the phone, please press *1 and wait for a name to be announced. If you would like to cancel a request, you can also press the # or # key. Once again, to ask a question, please press *1. Our first question comes from the line of Laura Champine of Loop. Please go ahead.
Good morning, and thanks for taking my question. It seems in this quarter that live streaming posted very strong growth, but your guidance for the fourth quarter seems to indicate a slight slowdown. Can you give more color around the dynamics on live streaming revenues in both Q3 and heading into Q4, specifically on the growth trajectory?
Thanks, Laura. This is Ben. Do you mind that I do a quick translation of your question to Mr. Ma? Okay. 耿总，Laura 问的问题其实是说，他看到我们今年第三季度的直播的收入增长还是非常喜人的，但是为什么我们没有调高全年的收入的这个预期？这个问题呢，我计划由我本人来回答，耿总。
好嘞，你回答吧。
Okay. Thanks, Laura. Yes, we do have a very strong quarter of live streaming revenue contribution this third quarter as opposed to last year. But we do see the management also have a very clear position and vision that with the COVID-19 impact here in China gets less negative and everything is back to norm right now. So people would like to consume less time online in general. So we do see in the fourth quarter, that might be impacted to some extent. And that is one of the critical reasons we would like to just hold this same guidance for the whole year. Laura.
Thank you. Another interesting dynamic for me anyway was that MAUs declined, but you're paying sequentially, but your paying customers grew very rapidly. How did you drive the migration towards paying users, and what drove the slowdown in MAU growth?
Sure, Laura. I will do the translation to Mr. Geng first. 耿总 ，Laura 的第二个问题，请问的是，他看到我们的 MAU 其实是降速的，但是呢，我们的付费的用户的成长却是非常喜人的。他希望了解，在这个变化的过程中，公司做了哪些非常好的这个动作经营的动作，来实现了就是这部分的这个付费用户的这个喜人的成长。耿总，这个问题我也可以直接回答。
OK， 好啊，我觉得我先来简单说一下，然后你再补充好吗？
可以，好的。
翻译的时候，对，第一个主要还是受这个印度地区的这个中印关系的影响，我们在印度的这个市场推广呢，做了一些收缩，所以影响了整个 MAU 的这个增速，但实际上呢，它不是一个常规的这个增速的预期。我们认为，如果中印关系改善的话，那么这个 MAU 的增长还是非常的这个利好的。那么第二个就是这个会员的付费，我们一直认为，对于 BlueCity 这款在垂直领域绝对领先的这样的一款产品，它具有这个定价权和这种各种玩法的定义的这样的一款产品的话，那么用户的这个付费意愿会非常的强劲。然后呢，我们对于这个用户的付费未来的这个增长和占比的预期呢，也是非常的这个乐观的。那么现在我们大家能够看到，通过2个季度来看，用户付费用户会员的付费用户呢，实现了很大的增长。我们预期未来还会有很好的这个营收的这个提振。那么主要得益于我们在市场的领先的优势，得益于这个用户的强劲的付费能力和对于社交的这种刚性的需求，也得益于我们这个增值团队不断的在优化我们的这个付费场景，优化我们的这个价格的这个调整，以及对于用户付费这个意愿的这个培养。OK。
好的，耿总。Laura, actually, Mr. Geng made some quick, brief answers, and I will add more colors based on his statement. So, Mr. Geng actually just explained that one of your statements that why the MAU in this quarter seems slow down. The main attribution is just because we do have some challenging for marketing online or offline in India due to the geopolitical issue well known globally. That and given that part was not even being monetized in history, so it does not actually affect our revenue contribution globally, but it does impact the MAU, but does not impact the revenue side. That's one quick background for the detailed answers before we go into details. And then number two, that Mr. Geng mentioned that given we are right now the number 1 market share player, we do have our competence that to have the strong engagement based on the sense of strong belongings of our users. So our users could be educated from time to time, over time, quarter over quarter, based on our interesting and attractive features kept introduced on this platform. Number 3 is that our team, the management, actually keep developing new features on this membership model, that we keep improving the users' interface and feelings and joy on this platform in general. So that's a quick brief to your question, Laura.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for the questions. I'll move on to the next questions from the line of Mei He from U.S. Tiger Securities. Please go ahead.
谢谢我的问题，观众朋友们好。我有2个问题，一个的话是关于这次季报上的这个 live streaming 的ARPU，环比和同比都有显著的增长，这个背后的原因是什么？未来的趋势会是怎么样？同时的话 ，live streaming 的这个 revenue sharing cost 也是同比和环比都是显著下降的，这个背后的原因是什么？未来的趋势会是什么？然后第2个问题的话是关于 FinCa 的这个收购，那么这个收购如果现在已经结束的话，已经完成的话，那么对于我们下个季度和明年的这个财务的话，会是什么样的情况变化？那么 FinCa 的这个现在以及 potential 的这个货币化的途径会是哪些？我自己翻译一下。So I have 2 questions. First, about live streaming business in this quarter, we can see that the live streaming up significantly both Q&Q and YOY. What is the reason behind and how will be the future trend? Meanwhile, live streaming revenue sharing costs down a lot both Q&Q and YOY. So what is the reason behind and how will be the future trend? Secondly, on FinCa acquisition, so if we have completed the acquisition, how will FinCa impact our financials in terms of revenue or profit the next quarter or next year? What is the potential or current monetization factor for FinCa? Thank you.
耿总，梅和他的问题小结一下。第一个问题是询问的是关于我们在这个季度直播的 ARPPU 和总收入都产生了一个显著的增长，他想了解我们的这个管理团队的看法，原因是什么？第二个小问题是这个关于直播的分成比例也提示了这个下降，他想了解就是管理团队有什么评述和这个计划。第2个大问题是关于2020年我们收购了这个FinCa，他也想了解对于我们接下来的这个季度2020年第4季度和2021年全年的收入的这个综合影响。同时梅和也希望了解到就是在这个FinCa这个产品上的货币化现在是个什么情况，以及公司在未来对它有什么样的这个期许和计划。耿总，要不然你先做一个陈述。耿总听得见我们说话吗
？OK， 我听到了。直播的 UP 值的逐渐的提升得益于我们运营团队的精细化运营，特别是对于有过付费历史的用户的这些召回和这个通过运营各种收入项的运营活动的刺激，让大家能够更有意愿来付费。所以整体来看的话，第3季度直播的这个收入还是实现了这个大面积的增长。那么我们也可以看到这个我们跟主播的分成比例再进一步的下调，这个是符合我们管理团队的一个预期。我们在上一个季度财报的时候，跟二级市场的投资人说过，我们在未来的2Q 将会逐渐的下调与主播的分成比例，能够达到行业的一个通行的标准，即从60%几，最后下调到接近50%左右。现在呢，是我们一个下调的过程。我们预期未来给主播的分成比例还会进一步的这个下调，那么公司在直播方面收入的毛利率还会进一步的提升。那么这是第1个大问题。第2个大问题关于FinCa的问题。FinCa是一个目前营收在亿级，年收入在亿级的这样的一个水平的这样的一款产品，而且实现了盈利。但是呢，我们认为这个产品仍然处于商业化的早期，它未来还是有很多的这个机会能够进一步丰富它的这个付费场景，增加它的这个玩法，以及更精细化的运营，以此来提升用户的付费意愿和 UP 值，达到更好的这个营收的规模。此外呢，我们也认为FinCa呢，现在它还是有很大的用户规模的增长空间。那么我们通过各种的运营手段和市场推广，提升FinCa的这个市场的占有率以及他们的这个用户规模，那么它将进一步的提振整体的收入水平。我们收购FinCa之后，预计在今年的 Q4 以及明年的财务收入当中，它会有非常有价值的财务表现。OK， 谢谢。
妹和我会补充一点，然后会进入到翻译的环节。 是关于就是翻卡这个项目，它现在的整个财务的状况，其实我们刚刚完成收购，我们正在进行它的这个 PPA 的这个审计的这个研读。具体的数据呢，其实我们可以在线下的时候完成这个工作之后，跟大家做一个正式的分享。好的。Should I do the translation? Okay. To anyone online that regarding the two questions just mentioned by Mei He from Tiger Securities and answered by Mr. Geng earlier at an earlier stage, that the question number one regards to the ARPPU growth and the revenue growth, the reason, and also the live streaming revenue sharing slow down, been decreasing over time, and the reason and the target. Okay, the key reason for ARPPU grow and also live streaming revenue in total pie growing is just because the management actually keep enhancing our operation for live streaming by developing more features to attract more attention from the online platform users in general. And we also do see that with this enhanced operation methodology applied over time, we are getting more and more attractive penetration rate from the live streaming through the DAU and MAU in general. And that's the key driver for the ARPPU and also the total revenue from live streaming. And the target of the management is definitely that given we are right now already the market number one player of this LGBTQ community platform globally, we do have the strong negotiation power to the live streamers from time to time. And at this time last year, we still have around something between 66 to 70% revenue sharing to live streamers. And right now, based on the management's efforts over the four quarters just to pass by, that we have successfully achieved to make it down around below 60%. And we are still trying every effort trying to bring that down to somewhere in between 50 to 55% in next several quarters. So that is our tactics to enhance our gross margin by lower down the live streaming sharing with the live streamers. The second question regards to the Finker's general financial performance to the next quarter and for the quarters in 2021, and also the business model diversity of this Finker product. Speaking of that, currently everything just completes from the paper, from the paper acquisition wise, and we are right now in the emerging sector of this deal. And everything is being audited right now according to the GAAP requirement, and we are going to share with detailed information as requested sometime later. That said, still the total revenue annually is on the level of RMB 100 million something in general for a sharing information purpose only. And the monetization pie consists from Finker were mainly also by live streaming, but with a very stronger than Blue Apps, that the membership services in general. Yeah, I think that's a quick brief of the questions and the answers.
Thank you for the questions. Next question comes from the line of Brian Lee of AMTD Group. Please go ahead.
Thank you for taking my question. Yes, it's a strong quarter as your company turned profit this quarter. So my question on the expenses side. So if we deducted SBC and your adjusted OPEX ratio was 30% and declining substantially sequentially and also on a yearly basis. So can this trend continue? And when can you achieve the operating leverage on the sales and the marketing? As we can see that sales and marketing still accounted for nearly 20% of your total revenue. So, and in particular, you just acquired Funky. So when can you realize the synergy with the acquisition? Thanks. 我简单翻译一下吧，就是非常高兴看到公司这个本季度盈利。那我的问题主要是在这个费用方面，我们看到这个语音费用的这个比例现在大概是30%，无论是从这个季度上还是从这个按年比都是下降很多。所以我想问一下，这个趋势是不是可以延续下去？然后第二点的话，就是想问一下公司在那个 sales and marketing 方面的这个费用将来会不会有进一步这个提升的空间？另外就是刚刚收购了这个翻卡，我想问一下这个整合之后的这个成本上的这些 synergy 什么时候可以实现？谢谢。
好，耿总，
你来回答。
OK， 可以。那 just for efficiency of translation, do you mind, Ryan, that I just conduct in English to answer all questions?
Sure. No problem. Thanks.
Okay. In general, our share-based compensation cost for this quarter actually touched based on the P&L in total is around $20 million or something. So that was huge, but that was just a non-cash accounting treatment in general, and most of them actually just in SG&A. So excluding them, you will conclude a very promising OPEX as percentage of total revenue grow. What I can tell you that this is very promising, but we do not see it going to just keep decreasing in this kind of pace, just because during the IPO process, I think we conducted over a year or so that we do enhance a lot by building up, strengthening our corporate governance, procurement process, selection, tenders process, etc. That was actually the legacy of our enhancing of corporate governance from the periods passed by, and this is just starting to impact from the recent quarters. But we do not see that will just be a norm in next quarters onwards. So yes, the result was promising, but we do not see it will going to be as aggressive as this pace in future. That said, still we are going to optimize our operation cost as a percentage of total revenue in general. Yes, it is going to decrease, but not in that aggressive pace. That's the answer to this question. And regarding the S&M as percentage of total revenue, you mentioned as 20%. The management holds strong confidence that if we are going to grow bigger, we have to spend more. So the percentage, as as in my last quarter earnings statement, that I mentioned that 20% is just as healthy and as acceptable by the management for S&M as a percent of total revenue. So we are going, especially we are going to be a global company. So we are going to keep that level of a percentage of revenue for marketing and sales in general. Yeah, in future quarters onwards. For the synergy, I assume you were asking about for the cost and G&A of OPEX, etc. for that synergy. Currently, yes, we according to the agreed terms, we are going to merge our functional departments post IPO, but we'll keep operate the Finca brand and business separately or independently for next several quarters, definitely. And we are going to optimize our human resource, to optimize our finance department, and also the legal, procurement, etc., etc. Yes, of course, we are looking at a very significant opportunity that if we just combine the two procurement process together, that we definitely have a very stronger negotiation position to deal with the vendors in general, especially for these IT related, like the cloud, like the content moderation machine, etc., etc. Brian, yeah.
Oh, very detailed answer. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the questions. Ladies and gentlemen, in the interest of time, we will now take the last questions from Bo Pei from Oppenheimer. Please go ahead.
耿总和 Ben 晚上好，就恭喜三季度非常强劲。我有2个问题，第一个是关于 Last2 的，就是我们收购，从8月份收购也过了一段时间了，刚才在 Prepare Remarks 里面也提到了一些当前的进程以及未来的展望，然后我想就是结合我们收购这个 Finca 以及未来的这个海外推广的这个策略，我想知道我们对 Last2 有没有相关的策略，就将它推广到海外，以及如果有的话，以及包括 Finca 就是说他们这个海外的这个推广策略具体是怎样去实施的。然后呢，就是说在海外疫情还比较严重的这个情况下，我们整体的这个海外的策略会不会受到一定的影响？然后第2个问题是关于 M&A 的，就是说我们这2个上市以来，这2个收购也都是集中在中国这个地区，我想知道海外的这个 M&A 的策略我们是怎么考虑的？是不是主要当前还是受到了这个疫情的影响，所以说没有办法实施？And then I'm gonna translate for myself. So I have 2 questions. The first one is about Last2 and Finca. We acquired Last2 in August, so just curious about our overseas expansion plan. Like we mentioned in our prepared remark for Finca, we're gonna promote these apps in the overseas market. So I'm just wondering if we have similar strategy for Last2. And then the second question is about our overseas M&A strategy. I mean, since our IPO, our 2 M&A deals in China. So I'm just curious about our M&A strategy in the overseas market. And then is the global pandemic kind of slowing down our efforts in overseas market in general? Thank you.
好呀，谢谢您的问题。那我来回应你的问题，然后之后Ben来帮助补充和翻译一下。首先回应 Last2 的问题。Last2 我们收购之后，在很短的时间之内，它的用户规模 MAU 的增长实现了 1.2 倍的这样的一个增速。那么我们预计在产品的更多的这个打磨和市场推广之后的话，还会实现更强劲的增长。这 1.2 倍只是在于我们只推出了一个全新的版本，还没有进行大面积的市场推广的情况下实现的这个效果。我们预计在12月份将继续推出Last2 的直播功能，那么它对于Last2 的用户的流量的提升，用户的粘性、在线时长的增加以及收入的增长将会实现巨大的帮助。我们目前看 Last2 整体的收入规模呢，相对来说还是比较小，但是我们预计在2021年Last2 将对于全公司贡献比较有意义的收入。好，那这是第一个问题。那第2个问题呢，我来
更总抱歉打断一下，
你先翻译。
不，裴博的这个问题除了这个现状介绍之外，还有一个问题是想了解 Last2 是否有海外的这个策略。
是的，但Last2 肯定是有海外的策略，因为目前我们来看，从全球来看，没有比较领先的女同性恋产品为全球的这个 less 人群提供服务。那么，但是 Last2 目前来看的话，我们大概还需要有一个短暂的时间，在国内能够持续的这个增长，实现绝对的领先之后的话，我们再推出这个 Last2 的国际版本。我们预计 Last2 将会在很短的时间之内吧，将会准备好这样的一项出海的工作。对。
Okay, I'll do the translation for the first question regarding that Pay asked about in general the status quo of Last2, which we acquired in this summer, and also any overseas expansion plan for Last2 in general. So Mr. Geng answered that post acquisition, the management have making great efforts to make the user growth of Last2, and as earlier mentioned during the prepared remarks, that we have the MAU of Last have actually increased by 1.2 times over those several months post acquisition, and based on the product enhancement and also the some limited marketing activities, we achieved this kind of results. Thus, with a heavier marketing activities conducted later, the management holds strong confidence that Lifestyle is going to be even stronger performance in general. Specifically, that in this December we are going to introduce the live streaming features embedded in Lifestyle. Regarding the overseas strategies for Lifestyle, according to Mr. Gou's statement, that yes, we are going to go overseas to surface the underserved global lesbian market. That said, still, our first priority is trying to win the market number one share player in China. So our tactic is trying to do China first as number one, then move to overseas. We see that is not in the long-term future. So that is our general plan. And my own add up to you, Peibo, regarding our general geography overseas expansion plan under such COVID situation is that, again, our mission is trying to be an international LGBTQ community lifetime demand service provider. So we will never stop expanding internationally, globally, overseas-wise. So that is our, like our strategy, like the law of our general plan. That said, under such current situation, not just the COVID, but also the geopolitical issues raised recently this year, that you can see from our earlier prepared remarks that we actually are trying to compensate alternative options through Latin America market. It's also a very attractive market, which we just recently introduced new products into those markets. So let's wait 1 or 2 quarters to see how that performed, which the management do hold a strong confidence in that regard. That's the question. That's the answer to question number 1, 裴博。
耿总，我们可以开始第2个问题。他想请问我们在 IPO 之后的这2个收购都是在中国境内，他想了解我们的大致的在海外的这个收购的这个策略是什么，尤其是在当前的疫情这个拓展的情况下。耿总。
好嘞，我们对于海外的收购和并购的思路是非常清晰的，就是对于有当地市场领先优势的产品，我们致力于通过投资或者是并购的方式，能够快速的进入当地，然后获取流量。对于当地没有市场领先的产品的话，我们自己来做，那么进行精细化的本地运营，能够扎根当地，能够迅速的成为当地的头部产品，获取当地的用户。那么受疫情影响呢，的确对于我们之前一些国家和地区的我们已经开始接触的一些潜在的投资并购的标的，受到一些影响啊，因为没有办法见面，甚至可能当地疫情比较严重，他们本地团队没有太多的时间和精力与我们进一步的洽谈和推动一些潜在的投资并购机会，但是这并没有阻止我们通过投资并购的方式能够提速我们进入这样的一些已经有当地领先产品的这样的一些地区的这样的一个战略，我们还是持续的进行推动。对，这是第一个关于投资并购的一个想法和思路。那么此外呢，我们的国际化的这个拓展其实也是有非常清晰的思路，除了并购之外，我们内部呢最近也在明确3条的这个战场。第一条战场就是巩固和深挖亚洲市场，现在我们是绝对的领先，那么我们进一步的实现产品的下沉和市场的扩张，获取更多的用户和收入的增长。那第2句话就是强势的进入拉美，我们也可以看到我们在 Q3 推出了针对拉美用户的本地化的版本，那么非常符合当地的用户体验习惯和当地的网络环境。目前来看呢，拉美这个版本的用户增速呢也是非常喜人的。那么第3句话呢，就是逐步进入欧美。那么我们认为中美关系的影响下，以及欧洲 一些对于用户隐私安全项的这个保护的策略的严苛的这种监管的情况下呢，我们在逐步的完善我们的产品矩阵和我们进入的策略，所以我们就是说逐步的进入欧美。但整体这3条线的话，我们都是符合这家公司要成为全球绝对领先的 LGBTQ 人群的线上流量的全覆盖，那么以此来为这个人群提供更全生命周期的商业化服务的这样的一个整体的策略。好，谢谢 Ben。
好，谢谢耿总。Peibo and everyone else on the line that again, I would like to highlight before I go into the detailed answers translation to Mr. Geng's just now statement that our mission of this company, this platform, is trying to position ourselves as a international global success service provider to serve the global LGBTQ community in general. So this second question from Peibo regarding the M&A strategy overseas-wise actually does have some interconnection with our global expansion plan in general. So Mr. Geng answered this question from 2 aspects. Number one, it's just a apple-to-apple answer that if there is a existing strong market dominant player that we would like to explore any acquisition opportunities with them first in order to save efforts and save time to acquire the customers in general in that market. If that new territories market does not have a presentable, good-looking target, our strategy for that market is trying to do by ourselves, either to develop a new featured product or just copycat our international version of Blue in general. So that is the statement of our global expansion. M&A is only one of the options in general. My own add up for this aspect, Peibo, is that it's not just a restriction raised from the COVID, but also from many other aspects like geopolitical issue. These years that the China-U.S. tension, even India tension, etc., etc. That's also that's also quite challenging for a China company going abroad. I believe everyone understands that. And also the cost. Cost does not really just only relate to the economic cost, but also the efforts cost. That even maybe the data protection cost, like the GDPR in Europe, etc. That echoes Mr. Geng's just now statement that our 3 tactics to go abroad. That's the consideration for how we go abroad, either by acquisition or organic growth. The second aspect stated by Mr. Geng is that we do have a clear globalization strategy in general. Number one is that we are going to still keep solid, expand, enhance our strong presence in APAC territories to keep dominating these markets by developing new features, by doing more sales and marketing online, offline, and to help users get more engaged, etc., etc. Number 2 is that we do find another alternative market, Latin America, and we just entered into that market proactively since this quarter, and we do see, by this quarter I mean the 4th quarter this year, and we do see to date the data, the KPI resulted from Latin America is quite promising, and we will taking serious study in this market, keep developing new features and doing more operation proactively in general to get that market to a more promising stage. The number 3 is that, as Mr. Geng mentioned, that of course, the North America and Europe, the users actually, they were very, very good users. They are willing to pay. They are more well educated, and they're good users. So definitely, again, back to my earlier mentioned law of this company, that we are going to be a success international company. We have to face the challenging to
to be moving to North America and Europe sometime in some way. And from now on, and even 2021 or 2022, management already had a serious dialogue internally and preparation to try to get conquered. Sorry, pardon my words, not conquer. Trying to get some meaningful first step in that mentioned North America and Europe markets. Payable. That's the answers to the second question. Yeah. Operator.
Thank you very much. Seeing no more questions in the queue, let me turn the call back to CFO Ben Li for closing remarks.
Thank you, operator, and thank you all for participating on today's call and for your support. We appreciate your interest and look forward to reporting to you again next quarter on our progress. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, that does conclude the conference for today. Thank you for your participation. You may now disconnect your lines.